And welcome back. As we go ahead and continue working with loops, let's go ahead and take a kind of recap on everything we talked about, particularly looking at both the for and the while loop in different contexts. So here, let's go ahead and first look at the for loop, because if you notice, we have two lists in front of us. We have a list of numbers and a list of names. These, of course, are much more better setups for a for loop to handle, because the for loop naturally allows us to traverse through a list. So anytime we have a list type structure, it's probably going to be a for loop that we use. Doesn't mean that we can't use a while loop, but a for loop is, of course, constructed in such a way that it makes it very easy for us to traverse through it. So let's go ahead and say for each element in list of names, what do we want it to do with those names? Well, this is when we have to decide what is our program doing. So let's just say in this case, we are looking to see if a name starts with a certain letter. Or maybe we want to see if a name ends with a certain letter. There are, of course, multiple different ways we can do this. But let's just have it for this purpose right now, simply just print out the element. So we're going to just print out the element. And that's all we need to do. Now, down here we have demonstrating a while loop. Let's have this program, though, do something a little different, or this section of our code. So let's go ahead and create a counter variable, and we'll initialize this one to 0. And let's just say we want this to run for a set number of iterations. So let's just say we want this to go for 10 iterations. So we can say while count is less than 10, we said. What do we want that variable to do? Well, now we have it, of course, doing this, we could do something simple like simply just printing out count, and of course that would give us that option. And of course we can expand our program beyond this basic structure, but let's just give this a quick run, see what we got here. And of course you can see it says 0, 0, 0, 0, and you can see it's still running. Oh, because what did we forget to do? A basic programming mistake here is we forgot, of course, to add in here the ability to increase our count. So we have to say count plus equals 1. So that we can actually increment count. So now if we rerun this, all right, we of course now have our demonstrating of a for loop. We have Abby, Chris, Eli, Greg, Hank, Nicole. Demonstrating a while loop, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Again, a very easy way for us to do this. Now, of course, if I wanted to have this take the list of names and do something with that, or maybe the list of numbers, maybe I want to do something with that one. So let's go ahead and just, actually I'm going to go in the same loop here. And let's just go ahead and create a variable that's going to add up that list of numbers. So I'm just going to have a variable. Let's just call this sum. And let's set it equal to 0 to start. And what I want to do is in this loop, I want to take sum and add it to an element. Now, of course, this is not going to work because this is the wrong loop because that's our list of names. So let's do the elements in the list of numbers. And here we're going to say sum is equal to sum plus the element. And then when that loop is done, let's go ahead and print the sum of the numbers in the list was, and then we can concatenate that in. We're going to go ahead and make sure we string cast this just in case it comes back as something we don't want, because sum is probably going to be identified as a numeric type. And so now if we rerun this program, all right, we see we still got our names from before here, which is fine, but now we get the sum of the numbers in the list was 15. So it's very easy, of course, to do this with both the numeric and with string values. And of course, our while loop is still demonstrating our integer values. And again, we can do this with other things we've seen. Of course, we can do this with break statements. So for example, if I want to come in here and let's say I want to, if any point, break this out. So let's just say if count equals, let's say 5. We want to break it out. And I accidentally put a semicolon there. So there we go. So we're going to say if count breaks 5, hits 5, we're going to break it out. Or maybe we don't want to break. Maybe we want to do a continue command. So we're just going to skip at 5. So now if I rerun that program, oh, we can see it's stuck on a 5. Why is it stuck on a 5? Well, because when we do a continue, our count iteration is right here. So it's something to kind of keep in mind here. So I need to go ahead and kill the Python run here. And let's go ahead and move our iteration to happen before that happens. Now, it might affect how we want our program to behave, but that's fine just for our demonstration purposes. And so now we get 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right. because now it's, of course, it's again looping through here what this can do. If I change this now to a break, let's see if this changes at all. And now you can see we get 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So again, just a quick demonstration of how those different things can work. Hopefully that helps give you some ideas for how to use a for loop and a while loop in Python. And of course, this is a very basic structure for us to be able to do different things, but we're still limited in the scope of things we can do. One of the things we need to look at next are functions. And we already have been actually seeing a function here, which is the main function. And we've been calling it down here. And functions, if you're coming from the world of Java, these are what we call methods. So this is a very similar approach that we're going to get used to seeing as we start building out into much more complex programs.